Is this thing working? Is this thing working? I think it might be. I think it might be. I think it very well might be working. But it's hard to tell. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, folks. How are you? Old school Patreon tonight because, well, my internet has been dog shit. The last couple of times I've tried to do these, the internet has been complete shit. And it's ended up ruining them, and I've ended up having to go to a phone stream anyway. So, unfortunately, until I can figure out what's going on with my internet, I think I have a lead. I think it's that I live in Louisiana. And they probably have like swamp logs and shit instead of like fiber optic cable. That's what I'm guessing. That's my guess. But, yeah, kind of a shame because we can't play any games together or anything, but it's an old school Highdeology. So we're a few minutes early. So, we can wait for people for a minute or two. I'm also gonna go real quick and make a post on Patreon. That's a good idea. Make a post saying, "Hey everybody, in case you missed the other one, we're live now. Come join us. Eat a dick, suck a pussy, fucking ass, all that stuff." You know what I mean? Beer? Oh, that sounds good. I think I have a couple of beers too. Do I? I want to say I've got a couple of beers that I could go crack open. Beer sounds actually kind of nice. Sounds kind of nice. I guess it's right up here at the top. Oh, it's already done. Okay, it was done at 6:45. Man. Okay. Fair enough. Don't have to worry about that then. Light your vents and pack your bowls indeed. Speaking of which, hold on one second. I'll be right back. Just give me uno momento. Uno momento, por favore. Hello, Dinor. Hey, could you go on about your business, please? Thank you. Go on. Shoo! Shoo! Got me singing bye bye Miss American Pie. Drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. And them good old boys will drink 'em whiskey and wine. This'll be the day that I die. Okay. Should I have grabbed that lighter? I should have grabbed that lighter. Let me go grab that lighter. This will be the day that I die. All right. Enough with the goddamn delays. Let's go. Enough with the goddamn delays. We're ready now. Everybody's ready. Everybody's here. So, since we're kind of limited due to my shitfuck internet, I can't pop on Sekiro or something and play it. I was actually thinking about playing some EVE Online while we talked today, if I could do a computer stream, but after testing that out, that was not going to happen. So we can just do a little Q&A. We can play GTA IRL. Damn. It's tempting. Playing EVE right now, cool. Yeah, I was going to jump on and do some wormhole exploration or whatever while we talked, but that's just going to serve to distract from the conversation, honestly. Got a theater, huh? Damn. I should mess with my lighting and make myself look better if you're going to be watching on a home theater. It was 84 degrees near the Arctic Ocean. Cool. Sounds great. I don't really see the problem with this global warming thing. You're eating a fried chicken sandwich with bacon. Do you prefer chicken sandwiches or burgers? Burgers. I'm a purist, man. I like a burger. I mean, I'm fine with a chicken sandwich, and every once in a while I'll get a chicken sandwich if I could get a burger, but I'm a red meat guy, man. I don't know about the rest of you. I know that they've done studies, and they're like, red meat's bad for your colon or whatever the fuck. It's bad for this, bad for your blood pressure. But goddamn, why is everything that's horrible for you taste so fucking delicious? Beef, the cow, the meat of the cow, so delicious. It's so good. My sister's favorite story of yours, the one with Archie, as a former vet tech. She found the idea of a big bald wiener dog hilarious. Oh, dude, Archie was something else, man. Pretty sure Archie's probably passed on by now, but it would not shock me to learn that Archie is still with us, still flopping his balls around. I've never done DXM, though. Whoa. DVDA. I've done DVDA. I participated in a DVDA once. Double vaginal, double anal. 2 penises in each at the same time. It was interesting. I'm just kidding. I never participated in that. Although that is something that you can find if you go searching for it. I heard that from a friend of a friend. Alabama, the state that was last to have slavery off the books in 2000. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to say this too loud because I'm in the deep South right now, but there's just parts of this deep South area that need to be cleansed. You know what I mean? By cleansed, like with fire. Alabama is one of those. Definitely. There's some good ass people in Alabama, though. That's the problem with my scorched earth strategy for dealing with Southern resistance, is that there's actually some decent folks down here. You wouldn't want them to, like the dude that owns the Big Chief in Gadsden or whatever the fuck. You want him to, like, burn? He was cool as fuck. He had a bunch of weirdos at his place, but he was still happy. He had a dude with, like, Manson makeup and a kilt running around out there. He had a bunch of fucking neckbeards and trench coat guys chilling out there, and he never made an issue of it. Not even once. It was like the only issue was like, how can I help you guys? Because you're bringing a bunch of money over here. That's what I mean. I don't want to scorch all of Alabama and kill that dude too, But here's the nuanced position that people don't want to talk about. That guy probably supported this abortion bill, right? They're a Christian business. They've got, like, Christian undertones on their website. You can tell. So there's a good chance that those nice people supported this abortion bill. So it's like, doesn't that fuck with your narrative a little bit? You know what I mean? I see a lot of this. I posted about it on Twitter earlier about how, this abortion debate is just the fucking perfect wedge issue. It's just perfect because it makes both sides hate each other with equal vim and vigor. The pro-life side looks at the pro-choice side and says, look at these baby killers, these people that, like, laugh and joke and minimalize the actual murder of babies by irresponsible people. Look at them. They should be shunned. They should be ashamed. Should be marginalized for what they believe. And then you go over to the pro-choice side of the aisle, and how do they look at pro-lifers? Exactly alike, exactly the same. Look at these people. How dare they decide what a woman can do with their body? How dare they put their fake moral outrage in front of a woman's right to choose? They should be shunned and marginalized. Am I wrong? And what happens in the middle is shit like happened with us in Gadsden, where a bunch of liberal dudes, all abortion supporters, decided to go eat at a place where the guy could have honestly fucked us off. He could have gotten a look at the kind of people that we were bringing around and been like, hey, I want y'all up out of here. And we'd have been fucked. Instead, he was accommodating, he was kind, he helped us out outside of being the guy, the proprietor of the business. He helped us find a place to go afterwards. He was cool. He hit me up on my personal Facebook and I added him, and he wants us to come back one day. Where is that in the abortion debate? Where is that middle ground where this dude has this kind of hard right-wing abortion position, but he's still a nice guy, Where the bar owner's hostile towards you guys in contrast? I wouldn't go so far as to say hostile. None of us, to my knowledge, were kicked out or refused service there. But it's kind of hard to explain this, but I'm sure you'll understand what I'm saying. You ever get a feeling that you're not wanted when you walk into a place? Like you walk into a place of business and maybe you're dressed in a way that maybe they don't expect, and you get this feeling like they'd rather you just turn around and walk out the door. That's the feeling. That's the feeling that and it wasn't just, now here's the thing. I'm kind of a paranoid personality, so I tend to feel that in places before other people do. And I guess sometimes maybe that's not actually going on. Like I can misinterpret that, if you get my drift. But I didn't even start it. Like I wasn't the guy that brought it up. It was I heard other people, like people from the meetup talking about like, dude, people at this bar fucking do not want us here. And I was like, dude, I'm glad somebody else said something. I didn't want to bring it up for fear of being paranoid, but you're right. There is no love lost here. Like these folks are not stoked about us being here. And that sucks, because we put probably about $800. I don't know about 800, but we put some fucking money in the till that night. $200-$400 probably, all told. Everybody buying drinks that was there. We probably put $200 or $300, $400 more bucks in the till that night, and that's really how they should have looked at it, but it wouldn't. I don't think that there's a possibility of a middle ground. One group looks at the fetus as a potential human, the other right, I'm not even talking about a middle ground on the issue. I'm talking about a human middle ground, where it's like, all right, you have a political position that I consider to be kind of reprehensible, but I'm not going to write you off as a human being. I'm still willing to sit down and break bread with you. I'm still willing to talk with you about shit. You know what I mean? That's the middle ground that I'm seeking. Or at least trying to encourage others to seek, rather than doing this all people who support the Alabama abortion bill should be fucking hanged, It's just like it's as emotionally charged as it is. It's a political issue, guys. It is. You voted for Kodos? Yeah, me too. That differentiation really drives a wedge in the abortion debate, especially with the hyperpolarization of politics nowadays. Social media is killing us. Dude, you ain't fucking kidding, man. I don't want to go off on it because a lot of you guys probably watch other Highdeologies and shit, and I just did one today where I went on a fucking massive tirade against social media and all of that. And it just feels like, I don't know, man. It feels like there's a giant train heading for a broken bridge, and everybody can see the bridge is broken, but nobody seems to care that they're careening towards it, Yeah, I don't know how far down that. I mean, if you guys want to talk about it, we can talk about it. I don't know how far down that rabbit hole I want to go tonight, though. We can all feel it too. Well, at least some of you can. I don't know that I believe that all people are feeling it. If they are, a lot of them are hiding it real well, screaming, throw your hands up. Nothing is stopping this train. Yeah, you may as well at this point. Yeah, at this point, that's the truth. Oh, man. So, this is a good time for us to do, I guess, like a Q&A. If you guys, all being patrons and stuff, have got questions, you know, whether they be related to the show or what we're doing or what or not, you know, now's a good time, I guess. Do you have an NFL team? I do, but not really by choice. I'm a Raiders fan, but I was born into it, so I can't help it. You know what I mean? I was poisoned at an early age. The earth is in the process of killing us off, like a body does to a virus, yeah. Is there a way we can buy the Paul and TJ versus Pokemon movie? I don't think so right now, but I will ask, and please don't hold me to this as a promise you'll get it, but I will ask if we can just release that to the patrons as, you know what I mean? Just like extra content for you guys here this week. Because I don't really see any reason why we couldn't, at this point, do that. What happened to your creepypasta kick? I love that shit, and you seem so excited about it. It's just like, I'm excited about a lot of things. I still really like that idea, but I feel like I have to focus myself in order to keep myself on task. You know, I have a lot of content that I'm responsible for producing every week, and a lot of work goes into that content. And for me to be spending my time, you know, doing 18 different types of content, while it might be actually like really rewarding for me personally to do that, it detracts from my obligations for me. It pulls my creative energy and my creative focus away from where it needs to be and puts it on something else. Does that make sense? And it's not necessarily a good thing. We haven't decided quite yet what the $5,000 Patreon goal is going to be. But we've got a couple of ideas. We're kicking the can around. I don't know why it's so hard. I feel like we set the bar so high with the last one that we're having a hard time. Like, we don't want to continue this like hyper escalation where, you know, if we get to a 6,000 patron goal, we're doing a literal uninterrupted week-long show while standing on our heads or some shit. You know what I mean? We want to give people something that they're willing to fucking jump on board for, but we don't want to kill ourselves in the process or, you know, overshoot so that the next goal is too hard to do. You know what I mean? Would you guys consider doing video game commentary similar to Cinema for Cynics? Maybe. DFF of a place at that place is a... yeah. You've given me that idea before. Do you think your voice changed over the years or your mic quality changed? I noticed a pretty big difference between then and now. For me, I've always sounded like this. I don't think that there's maybe like a raspy note to my voice that wasn't always there, but I don't sound a whole hell of a lot different in my head than I sounded 15 years ago, or, you know, even farther back. The years and years of smoking and stuff have probably added a little bit of a rasp to my voice, or maybe my voice had a little bit more of a baritone character that needed to come out as I aged or whatever. But I get a lot of that from people. I get a lot of like, "Yo, you guys have pulled it." Like, if you want to listen to something that doesn't sound like me, go listen to my early videos. When I listen to those very briefly or rarely, I run across one and I take a look at it, that doesn't sound like me. So maybe that's the problem. I was modulating my voice and really trying to do that performer thing when I first started doing the show, and now you guys kind of get me more conversationally. So maybe that's the difference. I don't know. When you putting a ring on Ashley, I don't know, dude. I don't know. Let's not talk about it. You guys will be the 5 and 600th to know. Just so you know. Marriage ruins lives. Don't do it. Well, I'm a divorcee, so I understand the weight of marriage. But I also understand that Ashley is a young woman and might want that someday. And if she puts her foot down, I got to be honest with you guys, and like, this is a patron only Highdeology, so there's a good chance this never gets back to her, but like, I'm not letting her go. If there's something that I can do to keep her, I'm keeping her. So if I've got to go down and take the stupid man's plunge again, I'll do it if that's what it takes to keep her. Why do you have to be married to be happy in a relationship? I don't. I don't. So. Jude Law proposes to you tomorrow. What do you say? I say, would you mind a polyamorous relationship with my girl Ashley? And if he says no, then I ask Ashley, would you mind a polyamorous relationship with the one and only Jude, the Law? And of course she's gonna just go, oh yeah, that'd be dreamy. And then we both go. That's how it works out in my fantasy mind. Would you consider making your privated Google Hangouts unlisted for us patrons? If you guys wanted them, I guess I could just throw some links to you guys of those. You're talking about the old ones that I did, the super duper old ones? Yeah, I mean, there's really no reason for those to be private anymore as far as I'm concerned, so I don't know how interested people would be in watching that kind of old stuff, you know. Will you watch any more Derek Jensen stuff on this channel? I don't know. We might. I really want to try and find another kind of modern philosopher that has a different bent than Jensen for us to kind of deep dive into the next time we do some philosophy on Highdeology. And I've got some guys in mind, some folks in mind, some Slavoj Zizek. I'm not a huge fan of Zizek, but he might be interesting to do a deep dive into, despite my personal misgivings. Uwe Boll, yeah. Could do an Uwe Boll one. That'd be cool. Which is more real, mind or matter? Mind. The mind is the only thing that's genuinely real. And, perception is 100% functionally controlled by the mind and can be altered by the mind. So matter may not be, but your mind is. I gotta quit playing with my infinity cube while I'm sitting here. I'm sure it's annoying. What if your mind doesn't matter? Then what? Holy shit. What's your worst experience with drugs? My worst. I've had a couple of pretty bad experiences with drugs. The worst I ever felt on drugs, honestly, was at a time in my early 20s where I was really abusing drugs. To be specific, I was abusing prescription barbiturates at this point. Pretty much anything I could get my hand on. Vicodins or perks were usually what I got, but there were others that whatever I could get my hands on. And I was also drinking pretty heavily and smoking pretty heavily at this time. So it's one thing to smoke and drink at the same time. It's another thing to smoke, drink, and pop pills. And there was one time I did a bunch of fucking, I took a bunch of pills, I drank a bunch on top of it, smoked a bunch of weed, that I was sitting on the couch and I didn't even feel like a human being anymore. Like I couldn't even connect up to myself as a person, as a, you know, and I can remember being alive and looking around, but just, I was so far out of it that, you know, I really couldn't control my motor function all that well. It was horrible. And I remember one of the only clear thoughts I had, because I kind of dragged myself up the stairs to my bedroom, threw myself in bed, and I remember laying there all fucking spun 3 different ways and thinking, like, if you pass out, you're not going to wake up from this. Like, you have fucking taken enough pills and drank on top of it enough to literally kill you. And I ended up passing out, and that didn't end up being the case. Or maybe that was the case. Maybe that's the day that I croaked and ended up in the Berenstain universe. I don't know. Yeah, maybe this is like the Hellraiser hell, you know, and I died then, and then the rest of the last intervening 20 years of my life or so, it's been like torture for my sins. Wake up, Paul, we miss you. That's so creepy. Like your people gather around my coma-ridden body, and this is all just like a, oh man, that would be horrible. Wouldn't that be crazy? Dude, I just got a tingle up my spine thinking about that. Like, I'm sitting here creating this whole fucking weird fantasy reality around me, and that one fucking comment that I read was actually something that I heard out there in the real world where they're trying to wake me up. This is your mother, please wake up. Dude, wouldn't that be fucking crazy? Holy shit. That'd be a mind fuck. There was a time this past December I slipped into psychosis after eating an ungodly amount of edibles. I was in a dream state for 3 days? You weren't in a dream state for 3 days on no edibles. Come on now. Have you heard of the Wim Hof method of breathing? Or sorry, isn't it a breathing method? It's like, isn't Wim Hof breathing a thing? You high every time, and when practiced consistently, you begin to hallucinate. Yeah, it's like a breathing technique, right? Wim Hof breathing. I've heard of it. I've never tried it. It's actually like, I remember running into it and seeing it described by people saying that it helped with their depression. So maybe it does. Why am I so fat? Because I eat more than I exercise. Do you find internet crazy people interesting? Chris Chan, Gail Kordschuler? Not really, no. I mean, in a drive-by way, yes, but you got to understand, man, I spent a significant chunk of my life covering, you know, just internet weirdos, and it takes its toll on you. It's not as interesting as it seems when you drive by and go, look at that weirdo, you know. And oftentimes you find like a narrative that's sad too. That's something about like the whole internet kind of weirdos that I'm glad we don't really spend a whole lot of time covering those folks anymore on our show. Because I feel, well, you should feel bad for Chris Chan. See, that's the thing, is like, when you look at actually what happened to this person, what you see is a pattern of a mentally ill person who needed supervision to keep them from slipping into this fantasy world on the internet, being repeatedly gaslit by people for their own amusement and forced in sometimes to do awful, horrible things. I remember one time they had hacked Chris Chan's like Nintendo account or it was something. I didn't even think it was over that. One of these fake girlfriends that they had planted in his life. See, this is one of the sad things that people don't know about Chris Chan. They just look at him and they, look at a weirdo autist. There was like, at one point I remember there was this girl that they planted in his life, and she was in on the trolling, obviously, and they decided that they were going to take her away and the only way that, and like it was this guy Clyde Cash or one of those fucking trolls that did it to him anyway, and he said you can have the girl back, but you have to break your like Sonic medallion and stuff it in your ass, and he did it. Like, this is not a joke. This is a mentally ill person being exploited by people and gaslit by people and forced to do things that a person of sound mind and body very likely would not do. And so it's not funny in a drive-by way, really, which is why I kind of avoid that kind of shit nowadays. I mean, I'll admit I run across it. I've giggled at, weird people on the internet doing weird things, but oftentimes there's a sad story behind that kind of attention seeking, and I don't want to be part of making those types of people's lives worse. Oh yeah, the cloud disappear guy, the guy that thought he could control the weather with his mind. I mean, there's a good chance that a guy like that might be like trolling too. Like, I don't know. I didn't watch enough of his stuff to know for absolutely certain one way or the other that he wasn't just trolling. Yeah. I always had a little bit of empathy for Wild Bill because I see a little like a sadness in him. He seems a little bit broken on the inside somehow. I guess game recognized game or whatever. Isn't everyone though? Yeah, I guess. Wow, this took a dark turn. Everything's broken, nothing is right, blah. I mean, I guess it's gotta go there sometimes, right? Tulsi versus Bernie, who wins? What, in a cage match? Best thing you've done for another person? I don't know, man. I don't keep a list of all the nice things that I do for people. I just try to be good to people when I can, King George III of England thought he controlled the weather with his mind, so maybe it's more common than we think. Hey, maybe so. Maybe so. You never do know, I guess. That video where Wild Bill's talking about homosexuals on his porch and he goes, "Hey, Ron," to his neighbor is still funny. Dude, I don't know why that one was so memorable, too. I remember at that time, I can't exactly remember what went on, but there was like, I think I might have pulled that video, and then the guys were kind of like, we don't want to cover Wild Bill. And we ended up doing it anyway, and that ended up being one of the most memorable videos that Wild Bill ever threw out there. Because it was just, it was just so unintentionally funny. Just really unintentionally funny. He's out there just talking this like hardcore anti-gay stuff. It's just like he's right in nice neighbor mode. It goes to show you what I was talking about earlier, though. He's talking all this crazy charged political shit, but then when his neighbor walks up, he's like, "Oh, hey Ron, how's it going?" "Yeah, buddy." And you remember that episode where he was like watching his neighbor's cat because his neighbor's cat, like his neighbor couldn't take care of their cat because they were in a car accident or something, so he had his neighbor's cat. See, that's what I'm talking about, man. Wild Bill's not a bad guy. He's not a bad person. Got a lot of bad ideas, but when the chips are down, you know what I mean? I wasn't into Terrence McKenna, so I couldn't tell you anything about it. I found it frightening how many likes Wild Bill got on each video. Yeah, I mean, he used to, especially back at the height of his career, Wild Bill was a pretty big force. You can probably chat about a number of things with Wild Bill, dude. That's why I'm saying, like, beer is the great equalizer. It's why I'm a big advocate of face-to-face conversations between people who have a lot of rancor for one another. Dude, a sit down across the table and sharing a big fucking tall draft beer together, it melts away that animosity and it creates this human conversation that just You know what I mean? I think that's what we need. It may not fix everything, but I think we're sorely lacking that in today's society. Share a beer, yeah, but here's the thing. Yeah, I'd be a fun guy to share a beer with. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a great beer partner, but so is pretty much everybody else. That's the thing, man. You know, if we could take the like Antifa and the Proud Boys, right? And put them at a bar, sitting across the table from each other in individuals or pairs, and put a big pitcher of beer and some glasses in the middle of the table, I almost guarantee you what happens is not a riot. You see? You see? I think if you get an individual person and sit down with them, you'll more than likely have a nice combo about something. It's when you add a third person in, that's, well, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Without telling them who they are, and it would, oh yeah, that would go even better. Like if we could just get these crazy people together that are in these crazy, right-wing type of positions, and then give them you can talk about anything tonight but politics, and then go and sit them across from ideological opponents with a pitcher of beer and some chicken wings and some finger food, I can almost guarantee you friends are made, That's the thing, is like our common humanity has kind of been bled away in favor of these hard political stances, Or if you're a crazy person like me and you don't drink, you do eat though, don't you? It's not just beer. It doesn't have to be alcohol. Fruited sour ale. Oh. I like all kinds of beer, man. I love talking politics, but everyone else gets so pissy about it. Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, politics are designed for you to get pissy about. The thing is that people can't set aside politics for 5 seconds and treat each other like human beings. That's really the problem. It is way harder to go like, these people are retarded and they all should be fucking drug out in the street and shot as far as I'm concerned, which comes from both sides of especially the abortion issue. That kind of sentiment. That's where I'm saying people shouldn't take it to. It's okay to have fired up, politically charged opinions that you're very passionate about. It's not okay to take the person that has that contrary opinion and try and paint them like they're some kind of monster, which is what happens both ways, especially in the abortion issue. It's a two-way street. Why is it so hard for people to take a step back and admit that they might not know it all? It's okay to be wrong. Not in this current fucking climate, it isn't. Nope. This climate does not reward people that come to the new decision unless they're willing to follow a very, very clearly defined path that includes bowing and scraping and apologizing every fucking day, and even then you're never going to get accepted the way that you were before. So really the impetus is for you to pick an opinion, find other people that share that opinion, and stick to it no matter what, so that more people that have that opinion can find you and thus strengthen your voice. And I don't think it's I don't think it's our fault that things are that way necessarily. We're born into that kind of a paradigm, and I understand why so many people cling to it. And you look at social media, go look at Twitter. It's a bee's nest of what I'm talking about right now. There's people talking past each other. They're not really talking at people on the other side of the political issue or the other side of the aisle or whatever you want. They're not talking to them. They're talking over their heads, trying to reach more people that already think like them. They're talking at them. And if you accept someone else's argument after thinking about it, they owned and destroyed you. Exactly. So if you do have a conversation or a series of conversations that causes you to change your mind on an issue personally, you're still incentivized to keep that a secret and keep advocating for the wrong thing because you don't want to be the guy that got fuck owned by Ben Shapiro or, you know, raped by Dusty Smith or whatever the fuck, you know? So it encourages the double down. It encourages the, you know, I don't know. And none of that is the way that people expect other people to act in their real lives. So this new hyper harsh critical eye that social media puts on everybody is driving everybody slowly insane. In my opinion. I might be wrong. I'm more pissed that the left won't admit any level of commonality with the right, even if it contradicts your other beliefs. Where do you see a lot of the right admitting commonality with the left? I mean, I agree with you, but it seems to me that those polarized political positions here in this country treat each other pretty much equally when it comes to shit like that. Whoa, buddy. Have a little break here. Got a little break in the fast and furious conversation we've been having. So I can fill up my vape. Time to fill the vape. How's it going? It's going, man. It's going. Do you have problems growing up with conservatives in your family? Not really growing up, but after I grew up, you know, political divisions started to sow some pretty nasty seeds in my family. And, you know, I've dealt with it. So I can understand that how it can even tear people apart in their real lives, for sure. Is religion a problem in my family? No. Well, I mean, my sister being religious was probably the biggest religious problem my family had. My sister, right around graduation from high school, or maybe about a year before, or maybe a couple years before, converted to a very, like, super hardcore evangelical Christianity and never came back, you know? Like, when I say never came back, I mean, you know, she was like, she and I were like, you know, peas in a pod. She was like a female me, you know, foul-mouthed, cynical, hard drinking, the whole, you know, the whole package. We're very much alike, and we are very much not alike now, you know. I grew up in a homophobic family. They came around when they found out that I indeed partake of the gay. Oh yeah, my family. I mean, homophobia for me, like, was just a foregone conclusion. It was so ingrained in my upbringing that at an early age, when I began to kind of realize that I had these urges that included not only girls but boys, I made a fucking pact with myself that, like, I'm like never gonna tell anybody about this. It was that oppressively homophobic in my family. Like, I thought that if I let anybody know that I even thought about guys that way, that I would be ostracized from the family. Maybe I would have been. I don't know. I don't know. Do you like girls and guys equally? I probably not. No. I don't know what the percentages are. This hair is driving me nuts, man. I cannot wait until it gets long enough that it'll just, like, hang back under its own weight and quit doing this. I'm gonna go get a hat. Have you seen Sabrina on Netflix? Such a good show. I think you would. I haven't. No, I don't. I'm not. You know me and TV shows. I'm not a big. It might feel bad, but it looks fabulous. All right. Get some hair clips. Yeah, or beret. or a barrette or whatever that thing is that the girls, or the headbands that they used to put in to keep their hair back. If you could live in any video game, what would it be? I wouldn't want it to be one of these hyper realistic shits. Fuck that, man. If you're gonna go into a video game, you know which video game I'd want to live in? That fucking Katamari game where he's just rolling everything up into a ball. I'd love to be that Prince Katamari guy and roll the whole fucking planet up into just a big giant ball of shit. I'd pick a game like that though. I wouldn't want to be in like, yeah, fuck, I'd be in GTA or I'd be in, fuck that. Too realistic. Give me some crazy shit. Yeah, see, like Sekiro. Hell to the fuck no. Yeah, he can't die, but he gets stabbed and cut in half a bunch of times. Fuck that. No. I don't want that to happen to me once in my life, much less infinite times, Yeah, see, fuck the Elder Scrolls. I mean, whatever, J Darky. It's your choice, so I ain't saying, like, you're stupid for picking it. But for me, personally, Elder Scrolls, that's way too dangerous. That is way too dangerous. How many times do you see, like, travelers on the roads getting accosted by bandits over there? It's a fucking nightmare. As soon as they walk out of the fucking city, there's, like, demons waiting to kill. No. That's too dangerous, man. Fuck that shit. Yeah, like, well, how about Mario World? How about that? How about the Mushroom Kingdom? Nothing bad, like, genuinely bad ever happens there. You know what I mean? Even the bad stuff is cute as fuck and pretty harmless. Yeah, dude, no. How does anyone establish a society in a world like the Elder Scrolls? I mean, they have one. A loosely based society based on, like, pillage and murder. Like, horrible despotism. Yeah, no, fuck that, man. Mm-mm. Bowser destroyed a whole galaxy with a black hole. Yeah, but it was a cute little galaxy with, like, a smiley face and rosy cheeks. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. And he did it with, like, probably a cute-looking little machine. Fuck that. You'd be a Khajiit thief. You see how the Khajiit live, man? We've been walking for 3 days. You want to buy something, traveler? It's like, oh. Should I just give you money? World of Warcraft had a society, but it was almost wiped out by a plague. Ooh. No, fuck World of Warcraft, too. I wouldn't go that way just because, like, I'd have to be around such annoying fucking people all the time. See, that's a problem. I'd have to pick a single-player game. I don't want other people invading my fucking life if I get to choose a new reality. Fuck that. Single-player game. I'd say Deus Ex, but give us a few more years, we'll probably be in a version of it. Maybe. RuneScape? Yeah, dude. There you go. RuneScape. Dark Souls. Why, dude? Why would you even insinuate that? Hell to the no, dude. If you were a Pokemon, what would it be? Snorlax, probably. Oh, God. Fortnite. No. No! Yeah, Fortnite would be a fucking... That'd be a challenging game to live in. And have any kind of fun in. Minecraft is a little dangerous, but it might be kind of cool. You know? I don't know. The Sims? Nah, man, that's horrible. You guys are thinking wrong, man. What are with these weird games? You guys should play games for 5,000 patrons. We do that anyway sometimes, though. Maybe we are playing. Well, yeah, I guess, you know, I am a simulation theorist, so I'd say, yeah, we're being played like The Sims right now. Whoever's playing me is pretty fucking good at the game. You guys as players suck. Unban Quiplash at 5,000. No, I just don't think Quiplash works, man. It's a shame, but what are you gonna do? So let me ask you guys a question real quick. We won't get stuck on the topic, but do any of you play Monster Hunter on the PC? Monster Hunter Worlds? If you do, hit me up on Twitter and let's play. I like some Monster Hunter. You should if you don't. It's a good game. All you have is a cell phone. Well, you know, then you don't play Monster. I think there is a mobile game based around Monster Hunter, so you could get that. You should play it. You didn't like the early game? The whole game is basically going and doing boss fights. So if that's not your thing, then you probably, you know, I'm not saying you have to like it. You should get it. Can't afford a good gaming PC? Well, you can get it on, like, PlayStation and stuff, I think. Have you gotten Monster Hunter World above 30 frames per second? I think so, yeah. Which weapon are you running with? I must, what you call it? A Lance. We have a VR chat meetup. If I set up my VR, I guess we could do that. It sounds a little fruity, but yeah, I really don't know what you'd need to buy. Like, I'm pretty sure you could probably build yourself a PC for about $500 that would, you know, run it. Set up the VR, it's so easy. Is it? It's raining in California in May. It's almost unheard of here. It's interesting. April showers bring May flowers. That was a saying. And then they used to say that May comes in like a lion and goes out like a lamb, or comes in like a lamb and goes out like a lion. That used to be a saying back when I was a kid too, meaning that May was punctuated either by a bunch of storms at the beginning or end of it. A stitch in time saves 9. A bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. Dude, can you guys hear those frogs out there tonight? You guys want to go sit on that porch for a minute? Let's do that. Let's go sit on my porch for a second together and listen to the Tizamites. I really like the nature that exists outside the back of my house here, or my apartment, I guess. So let's take ourselves a little walk. Let's take a little trippy trip. What do you think, Dinor? You want to come out on the porch with me a little bit? Listen to the frogs. Listen to the frogs, ribbit, ribbit. Whoa. Uh-oh. Oh, man. Our light bulb blew out here? Shit. Am I gonna have to, like, wander around my house looking for a fucking light bulb now? I don't even think we have light bulbs. We're gonna have to buy one. Let me see if we've got some stashed in here. Well, that kind of sucks. I guess we won't be spending much time out back. You guys won't be able to see shit. And the frogs have chilled out, too. Come on in. Actually, I don't even think I have to buy light bulbs. I think that if I go down, I forget that I live in an apartment, you know? I think that I go down to the front office and just tell them, hey, I need a light bulb for my outside porch, and they just give me one. Isn't modern life grand? I was kind of looking forward to chilling out there, but that ain't gonna happen. Sorry, too dark out there tonight. DFF, the history of lobotomy. Be an interesting one. Am I crazy? Or did we cover lobotomies at some point? Maybe not like as a full episode, but wasn't like... I seem to remember us like conversing about lobotomies at some point. I might be wrong. I could be incorrect there, and likely am. Very much likely am. If you had to buy a gun legally, what would it be? A shotgun, probably. Like the only reason I could think of that I would need to buy a gun would be to like defend myself or my home or whatever, and for me, like, that's a shotgun. What do you think is David Lynch's best film? Probably Mulholland Drive. You like Blue Velvet? What is Blue Velvet? The fuck is Blue Velvet, man? Ask you a question? Okay. I'm trying to think of a generalized enough question that I would want a bunch of answers to from different people. I don't know. I'll think of one. Oh, yeah. Blue Velvet, the David Lynch movie. Got it. My brain was way off of David Lynch by the time that came up. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen it, but I have seen it. So, let's see. You guys should probably ask questions while I'm trying to think of one for you. You guys have a lot of DFF equals. I mean, I'll sit and go through DFF equals with you guys if you want. What do you disagree most with TJ on? That's a good question. I don't think that the biggest like difference between TJ and I is necessarily reducible to like one single issue. I think it's more of a perspective on humanity, like a psychological perspective on humanity. TJ tends to be a very straight and narrow thinker when it comes to human behavior, and I don't want to mischaracterize it, so let me try and find the right way to say this. You can see our biggest disagreements highlighted in an argument that we had, I think, on Flash Fried about a rape counseling place that refused to serve men or refused to allow men into certain, parts of it or whatever the fuck. And, he was claiming that true equality is the only way in that situation, and that everybody should be allowed to sit in these rape counseling groups or whatever. And to me, that perspective is pretty myopic when it comes to the incredibly psychologically complex act of getting over a rape. Just throwing a woman into a room with a man might not be the best thing to do. It's not necessarily just that issue, it's that kind of perspective on human psychology that I think is the most different between TJ and I. Not necessarily a political perspective, just more of like a human interaction perspective. So. Yeah, but see, TJ doesn't see it as exacerbating raw trauma. He sees it as desensitizing that person to something that they're going to have to face at some point in their lives anyway. So there's a pragmatic perspective from TJ's point. I just happen to disagree with it. And it comes up in various ways. It came up again, and this is a very, very connected thing, even though the two issues that that I listed are not altogether, connected. But it came up again during the spat we had about what's his name, Louis C.K. And whether or not what he did went beyond just a normal dude walking and asking a chick if they want to fuck. In the power dynamic idea, the idea that he's a big name in comedy and they're not, and for him to seize upon that to take them to his trailer and then try and force himself on them sexually in some way has a different connotation than just some Joe Schmo walking down the street doing it, And there is a power dynamic at play there, in my opinion. In TJ's opinion, there is not. In TJ's opinion, anybody should be able to walk up to any woman and go, drop your pants and bend over and let me fuck you, and there should never be a consideration of that person's position. Two different kind of looks at humanity, I guess. Can see both arguments. Sure. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm necessarily the right one. I'm just saying that my perspective and his differ pretty widely on topics like that. There's a certain amount of acceptance that comes with understanding the basics of human psychology, and I'm not claiming to be some fucking master of it. But I've spent a lot of time studying it, and I've spent a lot of time engaged with professionals in the mental health industry, and I've seen at least some examples of the human mind at play. So. I think he disagrees with the power of... Oh, okay. I won't read it if you're retracting the message. I'll respect your retraction. The black people example was a good one because you actually have a good point. Which one? Like, what are we talking about? Oh, you're talking about my aversion to being around black people after the crime I was a victim of and stuff. I mean, sure. I mean, it's just the human mind is a little more complex than the psychological pragmatist gives it credit for, in my opinion. Ask the chat, who here is brave enough to stand up against gorilla? The answer, of course, is nobody. Of course. Why would they? This probably isn't a big enough idea for 5,000 patrons, but I bet TJ would love to develop a new game show. He always talks about how the Wheel of Torture was his favorite episode of DP. Yeah, he still talks about, the idea of trying that game show format, and I think it'd be fun. I would say that you haven't seen the last of TJ's love of game shows. Let's put it that way. Do you support nuclear energy as the main alternative to fossil fuels? I support any alternative to fossil fuels that's safe. So yes, I guess that's the long answer. The short answer is yes. Game show format. TJ wants to creepily grope the guests. Do you think TJ will ever do his play, School Shooting the Musical? Probably not. If punching 5-year-olds gave clean energy, I would be for it. Damn, Convo Paul. I don't know about that. I mean, people are afraid of nuclear energy, I think, unnecessarily because of the meltdowns and stuff that have happened. Nuclear energy can be harvested relatively safely. Well, not even relatively safely, beyond safely. For every nuclear reactor, commercial or otherwise, that is melted down, there are probably 200 or 300 that have never had a problem. So it's like one of those things. It's like going, well, a plane crashed, so I shouldn't get on a plane. Now, nowadays, that might be true, but it is kind of silly to avoid air travel because every once in a while a plane goes down. I don't know if France is 100% nuclear, but I know that they derive a lot of their energy from nuclear. The issue with nuclear energy is the mountains of nuclear waste it excretes. Why use nuclear when you can use solar, wind, tidal, and geothermal? Hey, dude, I ain't going to stand in the way of any of those, but my understanding of wind, solar, and geothermal is that we're not at a level of technology right now where we could look at those, even a combination of those, to fully replace our energy needs. So supplementing with nuclear is probably going to be a good idea for a very long time. Like, unless you've heard something about some brand new solar panel that's super duper fucking effective, or some brand new way of harvesting geothermal energy that would power an entire country the size of the United States. I'm all ears for that type of shit. But what I understand is like exploiting all of those things regionally where they can be exploited is a great move, but looking to those things to replace our need for fossil fuels is folly. So yes, that's why I have to remain a supporter of nuclear energy. I mean, if it was like we could either build a big nuke plant or one giant wind farm that powers the whole nation, I would obviously go for the wind farm, but I've never heard of a plan for a wind farm to power a nation, so. Solar frickin' roadways, man. The tidal power is actually headed in a really good direction. It's way more efficient now. You're talking about like the weird mats that float on the tide and harness the energy of the natural rolling in and out of the tide. Sure. I mean, once again, they might be getting better, and it might be good to use some of those things to power coastal areas of the world. But I haven't heard a single reputable voice say that there's any chance that we're going to come up with a tidal solution to the power needs that we have right now. Fear mongering has actually stagnated 40 plus years of nuclear energy development. You're absolutely right. Another problem is it can be converted easily to weapons. Give a country a nuclear power plant and they can figure out how to easily make a bomb. That's actually not necessarily true. Having a uranium reactor and refining uranium to the point where you can make a bomb are two very, very different things. And just because you have an energy-producing rod-based nuclear reactor doesn't mean that you have the ability to easily refine and enrich that uranium into fissile material. So it's a common misconception about nukes. The nuclear material and its waste products after reaction can't be used for nukes. Exactly. Now, they could be used for things like dirty bombs. You can use, those types of nuclear materials for dirty bombs. Newer advanced reactor designs do not permit it, and some only permit it, but it would be riddled with gamma emitters, with which you can literally see from space with a satellite. Yeah. Unless scientists can fix most of the world's problems, then we're going to live in Mad Max by 2200. Do you think we've got till 2200? Well, I don't think we've got that long. I think we've got about 50 or 60 years of relative stability left, if you want my hot take on it. I'm making banana bread. I'd send you some, but I'm sure you wouldn't like the arsenic. Wow. Wow, dude. I'd be surprised if I die before it all falls apart. You probably will, but don't worry. It'll fall apart nonetheless. Hopefully I'll be long dead by then. Why? You don't want to live in the most interesting time in human history, the end of humanity? You don't want to witness the end, bear witness to the end, the shitstorm that's going to go down? Try your hand at survival? I've got to be honest with you, in a certain way, and I know I wouldn't make it very long, but in a certain way, the impetus to, actually survive is a welcome thing. It's welcome to me. It would be like, okay, I'd be resigned to it at this point. All right, let's try this. At least I've got a goal now. How long do you want to live? I don't have a target age. I don't really care. I'd like to go out before somebody has to change my diaper for me again. I went through that once in life, the early parts of my life, and I'd rather not go back there. I'd rather have the human race to survive than our planet. We're worth way more. According to what metric? We're of this planet. We're made of the stuff of this planet. How could we possibly be worth more than it? That's like saying that you know what's going to happen on this planet after humanity dies. You know that humanity is the pinnacle, species that will ever inhabit the earth. What makes us so special, man? Are you one of these, our ability, we are the universe experiencing itself, guys? Do you feel like you're part of the universe experiencing itself subjectively? Whether that's true or not, I don't think it has much bearing on my day-to-day. Would you debate Howard Bloom on the future of humanity? I hesitate to use the word debate because I have a very fundamental idea what a debate is, and a lot of times when people call something a debate, what I don't see is a debate. I don't know that I would debate Howard Bloom on it, but I would have a nice, vigorous, raucous conversation with Howard Bloom about the future of humanity, sure. Why the fuck not? I've done it before. Scientists say squids are the next best candidate to take our place. Okay. Maybe they're right. Well, I'm one of those we are the universe experiencing itself guys. Hey, that's fine. I'm just, I'm not. I'm not one of those guys. Not at all. Whether it's true in a rhetorical way or not, I just don't really. It doesn't inform much about my day to day, so it doesn't. It doesn't do much for me. Howard Bloom can tell you about the time he entered a black hole. He did so many push-ups that he created a black hole. Do you think the universe could be a simulation? I think the universe likely is a simulation. But I don't want to talk about simulation theory tonight because, Jesus Christ, man, I went through like a 6-week period on Highdeology where I burned myself out on explaining simulation theory to people. I'm just done. I don't want to do it no more. Because it's honestly, it's one of those things that people are fascinated with, but it really genuinely doesn't matter. It has no bearing on your life whatsoever. No bearing. Whether you're in a simulation or not is completely and utterly fucking immaterial to your life. Because the simulated cops are still going to put you in simulated jail if you do simulated violence to another simulated being. You know what I mean? It's not like you can, it's not like your knowledge that it's all a simulation exempts you from the rules of that simulation. You know. No, I get it. But to my best knowledge, the potential of this planet is significantly less than the potential of the human race. If it's allowed to prosper, grow, and spread, my 2 cents anyway. What about the potential of the human race to be a destructive force in the galaxy? I mean, don't you think that, especially looking at how we deal with one another now, is a more likely outcome of our proliferation across the universe? I mean, do you really see... Well, he's talking about sentience, though. He's talking about, like, the reason why we're more important than the planet from which we came is because of our sentience, because of our potential. What about our potential to wreak destruction and havoc in the galaxy? What about the potential for us to set into unbalance another system that supported another type of sentient life? That was another way for the galaxy to experience itself subjectively. You know? This idea that humanity is on some kind of Star Trek-like path to eternal peace and the wisdom of gathering the knowledge of the cosmos and traveling to the far corners of it, I really don't see that reflected in any fucking reality that you can point to me here on Earth. So I think it's far more likely that a humanity that manages to escape the planet from which it came would go on to destroy the other planets that it landed on and consume them like a resource, and possibly countless other species in the process. I feel like we're going to destroy ourselves before we can go out into the cosmos. You want to know what the funny thing is? Us going out into the cosmos may be an utter impossibility. Knowing what we know now about the limits of rocketry, like we're not going to build a rocket that's going to carry human beings from this solar system to the closest one over. That's just not going to happen. The limits of our fucking rocket fuel being what they be. Now, I've heard people talk about detonating nuclear explosions behind a spacecraft in order to push it faster than, our current fucking technology could ever do. I've heard about this idea of solar sails, which is like we get the space vehicle out into space, and then it unfurls these giant, like 2-mile huge fucking cubed solar sails that are supposed to capture the solar winds and shit. All of these things are science fantasy right now. We have a tough time getting to the moon still, and we started doing that in 1960. That's not a good progression. And there are many scientists that say that it's folly for us to think that we're ever going to be able to get a human being outside the limits of the solar system in a meaningful way. So there's a very good chance that this is it for us. This planet, this one planet, is it for us. And if that's the case, we all need to pick up a shovel right now and start fucking working, in my opinion. Mass relays, yeah. In theory, we could build the nuclear bomb ship if we really wanted to, Paul, with current technology. In theory, no, we couldn't. No. We still don't know how that ship is protected from the concussive force of a nuclear explosion while simultaneously being propelled by it. So, no, theoretically, we couldn't create it. If we created a spaceship that was supposed to ride nuclear explosions, what would likely happen is that spaceship would be destroyed by the very nuclear explosion that was supposed to propel it. So, no, theoretically, we can't. We are a planet-locked species. Even if we visit the moon, or even if in some far, future scenario we put a pair of boots on Mars, that's not us escaping our planet. That's us visiting for a brief amount of time another planet by taking resources from our planet to survive on. We won't ever have a permanent base on the moon, which you can walk outside right now, and if it's not cloudy, you can see with your naked eye the geography of the moon, and we're not ever going to have a permanent presence there, much less a permanent presence on any other planet than here. So, sorry to shoot down that whole idea, but it's likely that it's true. Do you think that adult life, i.e. work, makes people ignore actual societal problems and lose empathy to others close to them? Well, I do think that in a broad sense, that capitalism is to blame for that sort of thing, because capitalism, of course, has this very cutthroat idea of, if I can step on your head and make an extra, $1 million or whatever the fuck, I'm going to do it. So there does seem to be this kind of built-in, fuck you, I'm going to get mine, to capitalism. And that does seem to have very, very obviously bled into our discourse. I mean, look at how we treat one another. Look at how we talk to one another. Go on social media and look at how both sides of every political issue talk about the other side like they're a bunch of fucking monsters or something. And really what's happening is it's two tribes of fucking monkeys, genetically indistinct from one another, are just chimping out at each other over the fucking most trivial of things. You know what I mean? So, maybe we should go back to feudalism. Yep, maybe we should. Let's do it. This is evolution. The monkey, the man, then the gun. Like all life, a catastrophe will propel our physical and social evolution forward. Just times that catastrophe on a plant-destroying level. What? When the singularity is literally born into existence, then we can quickly discover how to stabilize wormholes and travel anywhere in the universe in a matter of moments. Dude, you've been watching too much fucking TV, bro. What? Oh? You realize we're living in a country right now where a fat, possibly dementia patient, ex-reality TV star is our leader? What are you talking about? The singularity and stabilizing fucking wormholes, dude. Holy shit, man. Where are you getting that? Yikes. Some of us are a little too high. Yeah, maybe so. It's starting to look that way to me. I'm going to go get something to drink. You guys stay right there. I'll be right back. Don't go nowhere. Don't go nowhere, you hear? So many frogs tonight. Wow. Right. I hope a pulsar or equivalent cosmic catastrophe comes to destroy our planet, to force us to become an... What? Force us? You think what? What? Hold on now, buddy. Hold on now, buddy. Think a fucking pulsar is gonna be the... Yeah, dude, a pulsar, we're probably not even gonna see something... You're talking about like a gamma ray burst from a pulsar? We won't even see that coming. If an interstellar catastrophe comes, we'll go extinct. Yes. Yes. It's likely we'll go extinct anyway. Bum 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 bum. Doodle doodle doo doodle 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 doodle. It's not a pulsar, that's a neutron star. My bad, homie. My bad. The intrastellar catastrophe is more likely. We create our own catastrophe. We don't even need meteors or fucking solar flares or magnetic pole reversals, all these other things. Like, we're doing it ourselves. We're gonna do just fine scouring the planet of ourselves. Do you play Street Fighter with DSP? Only if I could hear him while we played. Come on! Couldn't block. Couldn't do anything. Oh, man. No, I'd do it. I'd play with DSP. Why not? It'd be fun. Be one of the rare times where I played with somebody saltier than me, you know? Whoa. The frogs got quiet and you got quiet. You guys are the frogs, aren't you? I knew it. Can we see a casting couch but with you and Ashley? No. Can I be the one that gets exploited? Can she be like the interviewer? I'll be like, hey. She'll be like, come right in. So, heard you're interested in modeling? Yeah, I guess. So like what kind of modeling are you interested in doing? Would you consider like underwear or I mean maybe. I mean, because you realize, you know, a lot of these clients are going to want to see different states of undress, and you know, sometimes it can be helpful if you take your clothes off like in front of me, for example, so you get used to it. Okay. Bow chicka wow wow. Naughty priest wants it, dude. Only if you cry. Oh. Oh. DFF strip poker. Jesse James show is dope. Glad you liked it. Yeah, I like those kind of biographical episodes. They're a lot of fun. A lot of fun to research for. What's your opinion on the speed of AI development? Do you think an infinitely self-improving AI could put an expiration date on the human race within your lifetime? Why would an self-improving AI put an expiration date necessarily on the human race? Why has it got to be a Skynet? Why has it always got to be a Skynet? The Stevie DFF, yeah. Would be interesting. Gotta love the Stevie DFF. Well, that's about what I've got for you guys tonight. Thank you guys for chilling. I appreciate it. Thank you for being patrons. See you guys on the next one. I'm going to try and suss out my fucking internet shit so we can play some games together next time. But I want to thank you guys for chilling.